Welcome to my messy life. Take my hand and dive right on in with me. It's gonna be alright. Messy imperfect life with Leigh.
Hello, I'm here with Jana Williams, the one and only.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful gal that I
thanks.
met recently. I signed up to take a spiritual class, and that's why I wore my spiritual badass shirt, because we're both
Awesome.
into spiritual stuff, and we're kind of badass women.
I agree.
I walked into the class and I laid my eyes on you and kind of sizing you up like women do. And I liked everything that I saw.
That's so sweet.
And there was a kindness to you and just a presence and a kindness and an openness that I was like, I can dive right in that.
Oh, that's so cool. That's really cool to hear. Thank you for saying that.
Yes. And at first I didn't know your husband was your husband. And I was like, who is that piece of chocolate cake?
Right?
I
How
mean,
hot is he? It's like you wouldn't think we were together because he's way better looking. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Come on.
No, he has kind of a Burt Reynolds rugged.
He would love that. And people have said that to him before. He's going to be so happy.
Yeah, he looks like Burt Reynolds, kind of rugged and kind of like Italian. Or is he Italian?
He's his dad's Puerto Rican and his mom is like a white, like me. His mom looks like me and his dad's
I love
Puerto
that you
Rican.
were like, his mom's like a white.
Yeah.
I thought something really exotic was about to come out.
I think there's like some Portuguese in there, but I'm like, you know what? When you look at her, you
just
don't
go
see
with
that.
white.
It's just, she looks like me. So yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of saw him too going, wow, it's always nice to have eye candy in a spiritual class.
Totally.
And I don't even know if you guys were sitting by each other or you weren't talking. I couldn't put it together yet.
Oh, well, you know what? He is a very special individual. So I had to learn in our relationship that if we go to a class together and he doesn't sit next to me, I can't take it personally. You know what I mean? He just does his thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's so interesting.
It very likely could be that he didn't even sit next to me, but I just have to like not take it personally.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Because we create stories which cause us suffering. So you could go, he doesn't want to spend time with me. Why is he seeing me? Why is he seen by somebody else?
I did a lot of that in the beginning.
And it just beats ourselves up instantly for something that's nothing.
Yeah, 100%.
How did you meet that hot hunk?
So I was working on Sunset Boulevard at Cabo Cantina. I don't know if you know the place. It's like a little shack. This was years ago. So this was 13 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we had a mutual friend who was trying to hook us up. So he came in on a Sunday. Sundays there are like 2 for 1. It was so busy. And as he walked in, I remember telling the waitress next to me, oh my God, that guy's so hot. You have to get his order. Like, I can't talk to him.
Oh,
Like,
that's so sweet.
I was like, no, I cannot speak to that guy. And he was like with this kind of old guy, which was also very interesting. He was so good looking. He was like in denim shirt. He looked like, I don't even know.
Like a Marlboro model man.
Just so hot walking through that door. And then he was with like an old guy in a cowboy hat. I was like, what is happening? But I'll never forget, he said at this table, it's called Table 23. And he just kind of kept staring at me. And I was like, oh my gosh, how crazy. I can't believe this guy. Everybody was talking about him in the back, about the hot guy at Table 23. It was crazy.
Table 23. That's the name of the story.
Right. And he actually asked the waitress, who was my friend, hey, is that girl Jana, that blonde girl Jana? And she said, yeah. And he said, well, we have mutual friends and they sent me up here to meet her. She never told me. So I never spoke to him. He was there for 3 hours. We never spoke.
Wait a second. Why didn't that girl tell you?
I'm not sure.
Do you think she forgot she was absent-minded or she was like, no, I'm keeping this fresh meat to myself?
I think that it would be, I was keeping this fresh meat to myself.
Isn't that crazy? Because he gave the magical words to connect with you and you didn't receive them and you still ended up married.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
So thanks for that. Because sometimes it feels like, should we be married? But but it is.
No, because when you're supposed to marry the guy, you can't mess it up.
Totally.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I guess that's true.
Because I really tried to mess it up once I met the guy who I knew was my husband because I didn't know what to do. And it happened.
Oh, I'd love to hear that story.
Well,
how'd you guys meet? Well, we can hear it. Whatever. Okay.
It's good, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about that right now because I'm more interested in you and hot named Table 23.
Got you.
So what happened after? 3 hours.
So 3 hours. So then he just like kind of walks up and I had, like I said, noticed that he had stared a little bit and which made me think maybe he's weird, that guy at Table 23. Like he's good looking, but maybe he's weird, Still never talked to him. I don't know. I don't have that personality towards like men. You know what I mean? I can talk to any woman, but I'm not the girl that's going to like make eye contact with the guy in a bar and be like, you know what I mean? Always
Oh.
this and that, whatever. But, so yeah, so he left and told his friends, like, I was there for 3 hours. She was like busy. She didn't even come over and say hello. And it's a small place, like tiny. And they were like, wow, she's usually really friendly. That's strange. And he's like, you know, whatever. And like, just didn't bring it back up. And then it was like maybe a few weeks later, our mutual friend came in and there was this guy with him that looked completely different in a suit, and his hair was like to the side. He looked kind of old school. And I was like, oh, that guy's really cute too, but who is this? So we start talking, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, are you the guy that was at table 23? And he at that table the other night? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, but he had been on an audition. So he looked super different, like from the 40s or something. I was like, oh my gosh,
he came back again a couple nights later.
Yeah. So then we kind of hit it off, and like our birthdays are really close to each other, even though he's 10 years older, but like
He's 10 years older.
I know everybody thinks that we're the same age. Imagine if we were.
But you do look like a little porcelain doll, but
Oh
and
my
he
gosh,
does
so
kind of
sweet.
have like some, you know, kind of some character to his face, smile
Mhm.
lines and all that kind of rugged look.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
He's
so how old
48.
is he?
Mm-hmm.
He's 48.
Oh no, wait, is he 49? He's 48 or 49.
He's almost 50.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that cool? Isn't 50 young?
It is young.
Isn't it young as hell?
Well, it is really for real for me when people say, I think I'm the same age as everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go, I'm 32. I'm like, oh shit, I'm old enough to be your mom because I'm 53, but I think I'm 32. So I don't even really get it, and I don't get hung up on it. I
Yeah.
just keep having a freaking blast.
See, that's awesome. And I think about like J-Lo. J-Lo is 50. She's like my inspo for like body and like working out and like all that.
I thought you said I was your inspo for my bikini pic the other day with my daughter.
This is true. This is true.
Okay, because I would
I'm
like
not dead.
to be included in
Yeah.
the inspo business.
You really are, though. I mean, that 10-year challenge, I was like, what the hell is going on? And when I found out you had 5 children, I was like, what the hell is happening?
I know. Sometimes when gals aren't that kind to me or open-hearted and they say, you've had 5 kids, I just go, mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Exactly.
I don't, but you know, if they're like judging themselves because I look in shape, I say only one came out of my C-section scar.
Mm.
So none actually came out of my vagina,
Oh, okay.
which is something I always wanted to tell really cute guys when they're like, oh my gosh, how many kids do you have? And I go
That's
5, but my vagina is still tight as hell because not one came out of my vagina. But I never
That's awesome.
voiced that out loud.
Yeah.
Well, I did
But you did
once.
just now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did
That's
one
great.
other time. But other than that, I would just go away, silly voice, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had any yet. So
Okay, tell me about that.
You know,
Have you
it's so
tried?
weird. Well, okay. So I always thought, because we've been together for whatever, 13 years, you know, I've never been on birth control my entire life. So I'm 38 right now. Never been on birth control, never been pregnant. So we weren't trying until a few years ago. And I still haven't got to that point where it's like I'm ovulating, lay down, you know, that whole thing, because something has come over me where I'm like, oh my gosh, if it's not going to happen, like, is this God trying to tell me that it just doesn't need to happen? Like I'm supposed to live a child-free life because of maybe, you know, like my mom's background or, you know, whatever, if there's reasons. So I'm just open to it right now, which I think has brought like a little sadness into my life recently.
Well, can I just give you a different perspective?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what it was. No, I'm kidding. Well, I was thinking about 4 different things and then they all scattered when I went to grab one in my brain. But what I learned from my journey of having a family, when I thought, okay, I was on the pill forever because my older sister had gotten pregnant in college and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want that to happen. So I took a pill like the day that happened to her until I was on my honeymoon.
Oh, wow.
So I'd never gotten pregnant. I'd never even had anything the same as you. I didn't
Yeah.
know. So I went off it and got, boom, pregnant right away and
Wow.
had my first kid,
Good
almost
for
died, took
you.
out my uterus. And then I was like, I always had this vision of having a big family because
Mhm.
I'm from 6, he's from 6. I just knew. So I was like, God, you don't want me to have a big family? And God was like, no, silly. You should have always your heart's desire, but not always the path you think you're supposed to walk to get
Yeah.
it. And the thing that popped in that I wanted to say was freeze your eggs.
Yeah.
By the
maybe I
way,
should-
no, I just want to tell you this. While you're starting your sadness, which is bullshit, you don't
Yeah,
need to
I
go
know.
there,
It
or
does.
whatever, freeze your eggs
Mm-hmm.
because eggs are the best at 35 and
Mhm.
down.
Mhm.
And if you freeze them, they're 38. If you decide in 4 years, you know, I'm really ready to go for this. Let's make
Yeah.
embryos and you have frozen eggs.
Yeah,
There's
you're
no
right. I
rush.
should just do it.
The only rush is your TikTok on your eggs, not the man's sperm, not your uterus. Everything else is fresh.
Yeah, I mean, I got my hormones checked and they came back all good. I was just a little low on pedestrian or whatever that word, whatever that is.
I don't know.
It's the one that helps you sleep and relax and all that stuff. But she's like, you should be really, really good. So I think you're right. I mean, I should probably freeze them. But I've just been open a little bit lately, and I've been listening to these books on having what it's like to have a child-free life and like some different reasons why people do. And so then I'll kind of like start talking about it with Dave, and he is, like I said, very unique, very special person. And he's so open to everything. But what's really hard sometimes is he doesn't give like a straight up opinion. He'll just be like, I don't think it has to be one way. You know, we could have a kid or could not have a kid, or because he already has one. I have a 19-year-old stepdaughter.
Yeah.
So then I'll try to make a decision. Like, okay, we're just not going
and
to.
You know what I love to do when I'm starting to feel sad or panicky or too much going on in my head? To frickin' shut this shit down and to listen to this. That's it. Because you already know exactly inside of you what is supposed to happen. You already know what's coming. You already know what you want.
I have to shut the chatter up. You're right.
Yeah,
I have to shut the chatter
Just
up.
do a meditation and shut the chatter. And before your meditation, say, God, show me super clearly what my next step is.
I like that.
Not
super
my
clearly.
end result. What my next step is. Am I lit up when I think about having a kid, when seeing that man and me combined into another human being? To love that kid even more than I already love my dog? To, all of these things. It's a heart-opening experience, and it lasts a freaking lifetime. I'm finding out at 53 with an 8-year-old that my shit isn't sitting down until at least 70 when she graduates college.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it is that, like, I think women have a longing to have a child if they want a child.
Right.
There's a longing. And if you have that longing, the beautiful thing about technology and medicine right now is they can create that with you, however that looks. So I had to pull out my eggs, my husband's sperm, and incubate them in another person's body after I lost my uterus. And I had all my kids a different way than I ever expected. The ride that taught me so much about surrender. And I got so many beautiful gifts from riding the wave and the flow of life of how I was supposed to create my family. And we were going straight to adoption.
Oh,
and then my doctor goes, Leigh, we left your ovaries.
Wow.
You can create embryos and incubate them in someone's body. And only Joan London had done it. But we said, what the hell, let's try.
Wow. That's so awesome.
And so it's so wonderful to be open to the different paths. But I think you quiet your mind and connect with your true self and listen to the whispers if you really, it's your heart's desire. And then you go down a path.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's some mess in the way. There's some weird shit I haven't dealt with yet. Or maybe I have dealt with it, but maybe I thought I dealt with it and I didn't, like, I guess.
Well, shit we've dealt with always comes back.
Oh, doesn't it always come back? And that's.
But the good thing is the shit used to be clamped around my ankle with a ball and chain that it was so heavy I couldn't walk forward. And then I shrunk the ball and could walk, but it was still banging around and clacking around.
Yeah.
And I still felt it. And then eventually it got smaller. I could crush it when I pushed through my biggest fearful thing and it crushed it and it blew away. But it keeps coming up now and again and going like this. And I'm like, oh, shut up. I've overcome you. I'm no longer buying into you're not welcome.
Yeah. And I just, because I think that weird belief that I have that I'm trying to almost convince myself that I don't deserve to have. How stupid is that? You know what I mean?
Oh, it's so not stupid. It's so common.
So ridiculous.
It's so common.
And so I'm making up excuses and thinking of all the reasons why, oh, well, it's not happening. I shouldn't, whatever. I don't deserve that. And then it makes me sad. And then I'm comfortable in that place. So I'm like, oh yeah. It seems like it should, it's stupid. It's like,
it's not stupid. You're sad because you're taking yourself, you're a high energy level, beautiful, open person, and you're allowing a thought to take you down. And that feels icky. Yeah. And you're like, how interesting. I'm here and I'm allowing myself to be down about something so beautiful about trying to be a mom. Where did your story come from of not being enough or unworthy or whatever?
It's so funny because you know how we met in that spiritual class.
Yeah.
So now I'm on another one at that center, and it was so cool because they're having us like really dive into like what our relationship was with God growing up, and I was like, oh my gosh, ding 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 ding, like I'm from Alabama.
I wonder where that sweet accent was. Yeah.
Yeah. From a really small town in Alabama, country as hell. Just, well, you're from
I'm from a big city girl.
Oh, okay.
Kansas City's a big metropolitan city.
Okay. Well,
But my husband's from Tipton, Missouri, like 1,000 people.
oh, okay. So yeah. So very, very country, lots of churches, no red lights, like tiniest town.
Yeah.
And my family was definitely not a church going family at all. And my mom.
How many siblings?
I have a older brother and a younger sister.
Okay.
And but I just remember like going to neighbors' houses or friends' houses or whatever. And when I would sit around their table and we would like hold hands and pray to God, I would be like, oh my gosh, I would just kind of feel inadequate. Like I'm not good enough for God to like really listen to me or really talk to me.
Where'd that come from though?
Probably from my mom. Like, so my mom has been diagnosed with bipolar, schizophrenic, and personality disorder.
Holy shit.
So that was really fun.
My mom was bipolar, but to have those other layers too.
Yeah.
And the personality disorder.
Mm-hmm. Really intense.
Oh my gosh. So you just saw complete insanity. That combination's too much for a human body to handle.
It was a lot. It was definitely a lot. And so now as I'm older, I know that I know that all of that pain and suffering like leads to something. But when you're a child, obviously you have no idea what that all means. And so you take it on.
Yes.
And I was the middle child. And what I've learned in therapy is like a lot of the, what do they call them? Survival tactics,
Oh, hell. I had so hardcore.
So many. And that I would believe them so much. And that has played out a lot in my relationship with Dave, But
and here's something cool about marriages. Your partner will trigger the things that you still need to heal inside.
Oh, 100%.
So what people always do is they're like, you're not sitting by me. You're not doing this. You're not. But the reality is you get triggered and you go in and you go, what is this old hurt I need to heal?
Oh, so
they draw out the stuff we can heal, but people usually get so pissed they divorce because this isn't what they planned on. They didn't plan on the triggers.
Yeah. We were really close to getting divorced. We separated. He moved out for 2 years. And this was like 4 years ago. And that was really tough. And I was the one that really held on. I had read the book, Getting the Love You Want. Have you read that? It's
No.
the Gottmans. It's a like wife and husband therapist. And that's exactly what they say. They say like, that it's like the right person for you when it's like bringing up all your shit, like all the pain, when it's ripping you open. And because you're going to have to walk through this fire with that person. Hey, if you want to start over and have like a few years of bliss and like the honeymoon stage again, it's going to happen again with the same thing. And that's
everything in life.
That.
We get hit or cold cocked or stomach crunch, get hurt. And you have to stop and say, wow, that hurt. Why did that show up? What am I to learn from that?
Mm-hmm.
And everything in marriage as well, because if you don't, you're going to get kicked and you're going to keep getting kicked till you finally get knocked on your ass with something really severe to learn the lesson. So it's so good to go, oh, I just got a little tweaked there. Let me explore within myself to find out where that was and to start to heal it. So you don't have to get a divorce and you don't have to get sick.
Yeah.
Or whatever the things are.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really tough time. But
how long ago was it when he moved out?
That was about 4 years ago. That was crazy because obviously, I haven't really talked that much about my childhood, but I have abandonment issues. Like I think a lot of women do.
No, I have all of these same things. My thought was, I'm not even good enough for my own mother to get out of bed for. That's how much I don't matter. That's how much I don't matter.
Yeah.
And I live like nothing freaking matters. I'm going to run fast and party hard and make out and because who gives a shit? I'm not worth anything.
So was she living in like bipolar being like kind of low a lot? Was she?
She was mostly in her bedroom with the door locked.
Okay.
And then when she was manic, she would shop and spend thousands of dollars in one day and would have 20 boxes from QVC on her front porch.
Wow. Okay.
So, but she never really left her bedroom in my remembrance and for how I needed her.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I've come the whole full circle of blaming her from me and my behavior to was starting having ownership of my shit and not blaming her. And then to start to understand her.
Yeah.
And then like, holy Toledo, did she feel bad that she was laid up for that long? Bless her heart. No one was helping her. And then I was like, had compassion for her. And then I had forgiveness. And then on her deathbed, I was able to say, you were my greatest spiritual teacher. And you set me on my life's path, which is to let people know you're not alone. No matter, because I always felt alone.
Yeah. That's
And so
truly amazing.
it's a blessing. And I think there's something cool knowing you're going to come from parents who are going to cover your light. They're going to make you feel like shit or put up situations where you perceive it that you're bad because you have to overcome something. Then you can be back in your glory and share your knowledge. If we're all skipping with perfect parents, we should be in heaven.
Totally. Like, and I believe that fully, like so much, 100%. But it was kind of hard. Like, so growing up, my mom was a little different. She was probably, I think, manic more. Maybe she was, cause she was, self, medicating too.
And the schizophrenia too would make you manic.
Oh, wow. Oh yeah.
Spinning.
Yeah. Lots and lots of just crazy situations. She would just there was so many situations where somebody should really write a movie about her. Just like, it's like so intense.
It's like Sybil or that kind of thing.
I've never seen a movie that even hardly compares.
Yeah.
Like it's so nuts.
So you are going to write a movie about that, or
I
a
mean,
book.
Someone should.
Or a book
Maybe.
about
Or a
your
book.
from her to table 23, where your healing started, probably.
Yeah. But she, we were going to, talking about her being my teacher. So, okay. So in high school, I think, I was really fueled to not be like her. Cause I mean, you said like how you explained your mom was kind of in the closet. My mom was very public with, I mean, she would hit us in public.
Oh my
She would take me by the hair of the head and pull me off the cheerleading thing and make me go down and put on makeup. She was really big with me being on a diet and having makeup on. And she was not a person who was like saying it like below her breath or anything. I mean, this was like, woo,
Get makeup on.
oh yeah. Oh, it was so wild and just wild. She was,
Would you just sit there putting on makeup crying?
oh yeah. Yeah. And I was definitely the one kid that would do anything that she wanted. So my brother sort of, he rebelled and he ended up being addicted to drugs. And my sister also rebelled and same thing, but now she's in recovery and he's in jail, but he's but in recovery also. But
Holy shit. We could just push pause on that sentence you just said. Ben, do you want to sit down, sweetheart? Feel free. Sure, yeah. There's either chair. That sentence that you just said, I was like, it was so loaded. I mean, so many things came to my mind in that moment that you said, my brother's in jail. And it's like when you rebel and you don't learn the lessons and you don't heal, you get derailed by the thoughts and the old pains. But you did what she said and you got through it. And now you're on this complete.
Yeah. And I felt like I was fueled to not be like her. Right. So that fueled me, and that gas lasted for like however long it did. So then I left Alabama, moved to New York, moved to LA. And then I think it was around 22, it like kind of hit me. And I was like, I swear to you, I think I cried for a year.
Yeah.
I went from this person who was like popular or whatever, in this homecoming queen, all this kind of thing, and being kind of confident, even though I didn't realize it was all just like social mask,
It was just your facade to keep your shit together.
Totally.
So you didn't fall and cry.
And then out here, when it was like, I just literally like seriously
broke down.
Just, yeah. And then a friend told me to go to this doctor, and I got on Zoloft and Trazodone, and that sucked. I gained all this weight. It was like really bad. But I just remember feeling so, oh God, I just didn't know what to do. And I hadn't found a spiritual practice yet. And I remember I was trying to go to like this acting class at Santa Monica College, and I would drive all the way there from Pasadena, and I would sit in the car. I was too scared to go in. I couldn't go in. And I was just, who is this person? I didn't recognize myself, because I had always been this other person who
because you
smile.
Put on the mask and your mask is off.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know who I am now because I don't want to be ruled by that anymore.
Yeah. So then, thank goodness, I made, I was like, okay, no, this Zoloft and the Trazodone is not working for me. So I stopped taking that. And then when I got that job at Cabo, started making good money and got my own apartment, and things just got better. And then I went to Kabbalah one night. They had like a free.
Was it your first time to Kabbalah? I've never been.
Yeah. It was so like.
What was it like?
It was awesome. Like so awesome. For me, it was just like total medicine. Cause you know how like you were talking about like our story. So I thought like, oh my gosh, I just had this whole story going on about how I was, just no good and all this stuff. And then when I got into class, and one of the first things I learned or they taught was like, in their opinion, you choose your parents. And I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Like, no, I did not. And like, no, I'm not going to accept that. That's not, I was young, but I was still like no, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to sit here and say I did that. And when they hear what happened and how she was, they're going to know I didn't. And they were like, oh no, you're a victim. You're being such a victim. And I'm like, what? But it was amazing because they really led me to like my mentor at Kabbalah really like led me and taught me like, you know, all of those things that you went through. Everything was for a reason.
Everything.
You grew and this, and then you know what? You need to thank her. You need to like, not only forgive her, but thank her. And so when that started to happen and like it still happens, but when I went from being a victim to going, oh my God, I'm actually grateful to her, my whole life changed. I met Dave like very soon after. And
and I just want to say too, I want to explain like a little bit in my head how I think it goes down as we're kicking it up there, these bright lights in the galaxy. And we got our posse, like maybe 1 million lights, but 350 surrounding us pretty close. And then like 3 or 4 that we are inseparable. And then all of a sudden God's like, soul 570, whatever, soul over whatever. I don't want to say my name yet because I hadn't found my earth suit yet, but God's like, come on, it's your time to go. And I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me guess what my story is going to be. I'm going to overcome unworthiness. And God's like, yes. And I'm like, God, I don't mean to be a dick, but that's almost everyone's on the planet. Couldn't you get more original? And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, unworthiness. And then my mom, who was one of my best soul friends, my best sisters, goes, I'll play your mom. I'll set you up.
Amazing.
I'll come down. I'll be really abused by my mother to set me up. And then she's like, I'll play your mother. Right. And then she goes, then I'm going to lay in bed and you're going to pound on my door and cry. And I'm not going to open it for you.
And I love you so much. I'm not going to open it for you.
And then
you're going to really learn this lesson.
And then I go, oh my God, you lay in bed for me? And then David comes up and says, okay, then once when you are sick of running, I'm going to step in and I'm going to hold you so tight while you flop around. And when you're so tired, I'm going to say, are you ready to get to work? And you're going to say yes. And then we'll get to work and then you're going to blossom.
Wow.
And I'm like, you do that for me. So it's having this awareness that we are on the planet to be ourselves and to be fully realized. And every freaking thing has to happen to set us up for the moment when we flip from victim to power and we use our wisdom and our knowing to heal the world, to touch people, to make a difference. That's the powerful shit. You read books and go to classes all day long. When you own your story and your mess and you shape it into a power tool, that's when you can go out there and slash love into people.
Yeah. And you know what I was thinking even today before I came here? I was like, God, like, you know, because still it's like, even though we've found a spiritual practice, even though that like I heard something in class the other day that was amazing because she was talking about how we can say, I know I'm not a victim, but I feel like one today. Or I know I'm not unworthy, but I feel like that today.
But I'm human today.
Yeah. And it's like, you know what? That means a lot to me too, because I see these people and with social media and everything, everybody seems to like, once they figured out that they're on this way, they're like, no more bad days or whatever. Super motivated.
Oh, hell no.
And so I like to hear when people are like, you know what, somebody I look up to is actually like, you know what, I'm still struggling. I'm still in pain and I can't even put my finger on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now instead of going and hiding, even though I'm in pain, I show up anyway today.
I'm going to be curious about it and explore it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go curl up and cry about it.
Or hide it with food or alcohol or
I still sometimes hide it with alcohol.
Me too.
I have too many cocktails and I'm like, that's one thing I do. I do go back and forth with. I'm like, all right, I know if I quit, I would be laser focused. My body would be healthier. I wouldn't eat late night. I wouldn't text stupid ass shit. And then I'm like, okay, I'll have a martini. I'm like, but it's I mean, it hasn't crushed my life, but it's definitely something for me to continue to look at. And I hope I can get to a place of, because I still want to have a glass of champagne now and again.
Me too. And that's what I struggle with is because I'll do these things where I'll go like a year when I won't drink alcohol, or I'll go all these months and where I won't. And I'm like, dude, if I go to Paris, I want to have some champagne. If I go to Santorini, I want to have a glass of wine. And Dave is very much like, you should. He's like, but you just don't have to have like 5.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. If I have more than 2, I'm gone. I'm partying like, woo, until 3 a.m. at 53. It's tiring It's tiring as AF.
Oh, okay.
I saw that the other day. Somebody put tiring AF. I was like, AF. Oh, as fuck. Oh, okay. So I was trying to say AF, but I couldn't quite get it down. Yeah.
So, but yeah. So we were saying, you know, even like, today when you're not feeling like, when you're still going through shit. Cause like on the way here, I was like, dude, I thought I already dealt with this. And then a thought came in my head that said, oh, I guess this means I have to deal with this all the time. Like I have to keep dealing with it.
Oh, hell no.
Like, but keep monitoring and looking at this feeling of like, am I being
curiosity with it? Have curiosity with it. If you think you crushed it, you did in that moment where you were. Now you're rising and fears are coming back in, or your ego's trying to derail you. Then you can go like, oh, wow, it's back. I'm not going to crawl in a hole because I have tools to say, but I'm going to feel it. I'm going to sit down in it. I want to feel it. I'm going to cry. I'm going to try and go within to see where I'm hurting. Fuck yeah, let's do that work. That's the good work. That's the power, right? And the next time it comes, it's like, oh, I must be evolving still.
Right? Yeah.
Now, how can I be? I think the most important thing is in life, we can control nothing except how we respond to an issue and how we are with ourselves as we respond. That's it. Shit is going to happen. People are going to cut you off. Someone might beat you up. Whatever it is, how will you treat yourself as you navigate it? And how will you respond or will you react? You know, that's it. That's all we got control over, is how we show up in the world and how we are with ourselves during it.
I agree with you. It sounds like you went and took that Kabbalah class too. It does. It's so much. It's so similar.
Every time I like talk about things that I've learned from my being all into my experience here and not letting one thing slip by. Like if I'm addicted to someone and they leave and I'm pissed and I sit down and I go, all right, that's not you want to spread love. You want to be about love. Your work is all on the foundation of love. What happened to me by him doing what he did? What happened to me that got triggered? Because I think we all have our wild kicking younger selves in there who didn't have all their needs met. And if we don't connect with that, your younger self or whatever's going on in here, it just keeps coming back. And I can get derailed if I forget about my neglected self, my younger self. So I have to tell her quite often, I got you today. We're okay.
Oh, yeah.
I got you. Yeah, but a lot of times when I just talk shit that I've learned from my experiences, people are like, oh, so you obviously read Brené Brown or whatever.
And you're like, no.
I'm like, no, but I know her, that she's great. And I know that she talks about really things that are very relatable, but she talks a lot about numbers and stats, and that doesn't turn me on. So I don't spend a lot of time listening to her, but I know her. But yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Because I think there's one vein.
So interesting, because that's what I felt from you when I saw you in class. I was like, oh, she can be rowdy. Because remember, because you are.
I am. I just blurt stuff out. I speak my mind.
It's so awesome. But I was like, gosh, but if you really listen to her, she's speaking more clearly than anyone in this room. You know what I mean? The points that she's making right now and how she's delivering that, like I can really understand that. Like I'm super clear on what she's saying. And she's clearing a few things up here right now. You know what I mean? And how you were helping people with their affirmations, like really quick. And I was like, damn. You know what I mean?
I was trying to be an observer in that class and learn. But there were a few times where somebody was speaking and I was like, I know that's not clear, but I know what the real thing is they're wanting to say. So it's like, so is that kind of like, and I would just say, if this was this and this, and they go, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, great. I was just making sure I was on the right page.
Yeah.
But really just bringing a little clarity, because I love simple shit. If there's too much talk and too much whispering, because we're so spiritual.
Yeah.
I'm like I start looking for someone to poke or throw a spitball at.
Yes, because on the way home, like me and Dave were talking and we're just laughing because I'm like, oh my gosh, Leigh's so funny. We were laughing, we were doing this, and then you switched pods, which was like also, I thought like rowdy and so funny. I'm like, wait, she left the pod, now she's in your pod. And he's like, she could be controversial. And I'm like, you know what? She's light. You know what I mean? Listen to what she's saying. You know what I mean? And so actually he turned on this podcast. We were listening to it on the way to float, and he's like, damn, wow, she's great. Like, wow.
Oh.
He's like, she's super grounded. I get that. I get this. And
I'm all over the freaking place. And there's big ass mess in my life. But I allow myself to be human. I actually embrace that unapologetically who I am. And I'm done apologizing. I'm done if I drink too much. If I offend someone, I'll say I'm sorry. But if I don't, I go and be gentle with myself and say, you're okay.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm not going to beat myself up anymore or do that kind of stuff. But I do like to have freaking fun.
Yeah.
I
And
love it.
Right? And you are fun. Like, I love that you do the splits. I love that you go dancing. I love that you have fun with your girlfriends. I love that you're always laughing. And you said something the other day in your podcast. You were like, I am committed 100% to have fun wherever I go and I can't help it. And I was like, oh, it's so you. That's so
funny.
And
if I can't have fun, if I have to sit in that damn room in that class like this, I can't be there. I have to speak out. I have to move my body. I have to touch people. I want to connect with people because we're all connected.
Yeah. So much.
And I'm not good when people say, stand in line. Like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I'm going right over there to no one's at that one. Everyone's standing here blindly because they're being told to. I can't. Yeah. So my kids are always like, stand in line. Stop it. Get over here. I'm like, you guys stand in line, hold our spot. I'm going to explore. And then I'm like, there's a whole other set of windows over here. Everyone follow me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But of course I run up to it first, pushing people out of the way. No, but it is a balance of being in, but before I would really offend people because I wasn't deeply connected to who I am. And that is love, because we're all made from God and God is love. So the core of me is love. And so now I go out and do crazy things from that place.
Right. Well, I'm so glad that you didn't like shut it down. You know what I mean? Yeah. That like spark, you know, because I think what you just said was so interesting about going to a spiritual class and having to whisper. And that has been something like Dave and I have had like little issues with sometimes too, because he's very spiritual, but I'll be like, and he's always, you know, he's always encouraged me to have a spiritual practice, but I'm like, it doesn't have to look the same as yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mine doesn't have to be like chanting or saying like being spiritual now we're being spiritual. Like, you know, I can be spiritual and be like myself and whatever. So,
I so understand that, because when I was getting more and more into speaking and more and sharing my message and doing workshops, and I would want to say fuck, and I would want to go out and have a martini after, and then I was like, oh gosh, all right, God, how am I supposed to not bring that to this? I don't want to sit down and whisper. I want to high kick and split and then talk about how you don't have to suffer. And then God was like, well, then go do that. And I was like, oh my gosh, awesome. Like I heard from here when I quieted my mind, it said, be exactly who you are.
Yeah, I love that.
And so I cuss when I want to, and I try not to do it all the time. And I've kind of crossed over, started doing it in front of my kids, but shit, they got to hear shit somewhere. Might as well be in the home. But yeah, allowing myself to be how God created me as a human, and then connecting to the power that he's given me to rise. It doesn't mean I have to shed the things that bring me joy.
Yeah. Or the spark, or the laugh that's a little too loud. You know, always like when...
Excuse me, what?
Well, not you.
No.
That's how I felt about myself.
It is too loud.
I always felt like, oh my gosh, you know, my laugh's like a little too loud, or this is too much, or that's too much, or this is, you know, whatever, or I'm too like gritty or something. And I'm like, but same. I'm just like, okay, no, it's too exhausting to try to be like.
Yeah, what you're not.
Yeah. Like, well,
it's
Lord
too
have mercy.
Exhausting not to honor who you are. It's too exhausting.
I got too much other work to do.
Yeah, shit. I got to just explore all this. I can't quit trying to be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when people aren't fully allowing themselves to be themselves, they're in depression, they're in weight gain, they're in misery and suffering, because they're not allowing them to be who God created them to be, which for me is a kind of remembering wild ass who likes to belly laugh and sees adventure and fun in everything, even an elevator by myself.
Oh, it's so great.
That
is inspiring to me. Yeah. I love that.
It's nice. It's nice. And to shift to, I've been doing a lot lately when someone pisses me off really bad. This just happened at a restaurant. Actually, I was leading my story workshop, being all spiritual. And then I said, come on, girls, I'm going to take you out for lunch, because it was like an all-day deal.
It happened with
them,
other people?
with the two girls who are like mentoring with me. And we go in, and this guy, the guy who worked there looked at me right away. And I go, hey, can we take that table? And he goes, could you please wait? And then I like looked around, and there was no one around me. Like, who is he? What's he dealing with that he can't? And then he just took off. And I was like, a little triggered. My little girl was like, oh, you are not going to put baby in a corner. You are not going to tell me to be quiet and wait. Who the hell do you think you are? Was rising up in me. And so he came back, and I said, the other girl said to me something like, you can go outside and just sit outside because they're available now. So I just said, girls, come on. We went and sat out there. He came and picked our stuff up off the table, and he goes, I told you to wait. And I was like,
Oh, Lord.
I mean, seriously, I
my
started
gosh.
like ticking and my heart was pounding. And then I walked back up and I looked him in the eye. And then I looked him in the eye and my whole, everything melted and my heart melted and opened. And I looked him in the eye and saw his divinity and saw his beauty and saw that he's having a hard time in his earth suit right now, that his humanness is really getting the best of him. But I saw who he really was. And I softened and just smiled. And I said, I will gladly wait.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then he was like, well, I can actually sit you right now.
Isn't that funny?
And I said, well, I appreciate that. And then I think we might have hugged
Wow.
in a 10-second moment.
What I'm loving is that you didn't have to do any explaining. It was just the looking at him.
Yes.
And it was just the feelings. I love that.
Man, when you look in when I look in your eyes, there's such a peace. When we're coming in, we're both kind of like this. Oh my gosh, we're running late. I'm sorry. And you're like, okay, well, I was thinking of this. Should I wear my jacket? We're like this chickens. And then you stop and you look in the eyes and you're like, oh, I can see so much there because that's connected to the good shit. And this is like
so much
crazy stuff.
So yeah, so
isn't
crazy.
it nice? I encourage people to look in people's eyeballs, because it's a place of solace.
And having that compassion, I think is huge because, you know, you in that moment, like had compassion for him. You were just like, oh, okay, that's all right. And I think that, you know, whatever we've gone through in our life that is hard and hurts, that's one of the big things is that we get to learn compassion and learn empathy. And I feel like, man, that's been something I am so grateful for, is being able to, it also helps in my work as a photographer. You know what I mean? Having that.
Can we talk about that?
Aww,
Gosh,
sure.
damn it.
Sure.
So I meet you in that class and then I think I gave you a business card or something.
Yeah. Because
And
we had this connection with Anna Beck.
oh yeah, that's right. And then, oh yeah, and we took a selfie, whatever. And I was going to text it to the Anna Beck girl. I can't believe I just said that, Becky. But I was like, well, what do you do? And then you go, oh, I'm a photographer. Check out my Instagram. And then I went to your Instagram and I was like, it was like I was in I was part of a fashion magazine.
Oh,
like it was
thanks.
so comforting and beautiful and
Thank
so magical.
Thank you.
What you've
Thank
created
you.
with your photography
Thank
and
you.
your page.
Thanks.
And that's also one of those things where you look perfect.
oh,
So
funny.
today you're snuggling with the hot handsome. I actually posted that on
Oh,
Facebook
yeah.
today. You're snuggling with your hot handsome. And if I were not what I know about life and what I know that every single person has mess, no matter what their photos look like, and I find great comfort in that, is I looked at that and I thought, oh, I'm so happy she was having that moment, that she got that moment, because I know that there's mess, and I have it too. And our things look so polished and perfect with the best filters if we use them, and the best cropping and the best lighting, and everything looks so perfect, but it's so opposite of reality. But it's a taste of what can be.
Oh, absolutely. Like so much. And you know,
Tell what it is so people can look if they're looking right now.
Oh, okay. So the Instagram is Jana Williams photos _ and my website is just jana-williams.com. But yeah, I think that, I don't think I would be any bit of the photographer I am today if it weren't for all of that pain, because I have so much respect and so much, how do I say this? Like because I'm shooting mostly weddings. And so I'm shooting all these family moments, these like real things that are happening like on a wedding day. They're so special. And for me, like I didn't have a wedding, you know, my parents and Dave's parents, we've been together for 13 years, have never even met, you know, and there's all of these things that I wish that could have happened. I wish I could have danced with my dad, like for our first night. I wish that my mom would zip me up and like, it would be that kind of thing. I think that all that stuff is so amazing. And so I'm so literally like, even if these girls are maybe younger and they don't realize in that moment how lucky they are to have these things. And I know that I'm also seeing them on their best day too. And so everybody's got lots of things, but in this moment, at least it's like, you know, just really, really capturing that moment, those moments in time with the family. Cause I definitely, there's that's healing for me.
Yes. I was going to say
healing.
too, when I used to wish my mom would have, like you said about zipping up the dress and having the wedding and all that, when I used to wish my mom would have held me when I cried. And I remember the first time I picked up my daughter, not the first time actually, but I just remember one time picking her up and closing my eyes. And I wasn't great at affection because I didn't get it. So I had to learn on them how to hold them and how to give
so
that.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I was holding her and petting her hair or whatever and comforting her. And then I thought, gosh, wouldn't this have been neat if my mom did this? And then I closed my eyes and remembered me at her age and held her. So I was holding her, but I was holding me. And I thought, oh, this is how you can heal that stuff.
That's really great.
And so when you were saying about zipping up the dress, it's so funny that you're in that place to see what it looks like to be the beautiful girl with the flowers and the mom. And you can actually, as you're shooting, allow your brain to see yourself holding the bouquet
start doing that.
and to see the mother zipping up your back, because we can start telling our brain that it's happened, that you had it because you allowed yourself to experience it. And then you can start letting go of the need of having it because you had it.
Yeah, because I definitely still have a need for it. And I haven't found a place to replace it. Because I'm like, I wish that, even now, I wish that there was like someone I could call and get some advice or,
You can call me.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to look at it because
that's part of the reason why you're there, to see how family looks and to see how it can be. And you can allow yourself to be in the moment of that and to feel it. Because when you feel something in your brain, imagine it's happened. Like when I do these vision boards and then we take them out and break them down, and then we do a guided thing where we actually see ourselves on the stage with sold out crowd doing what we love or whatever it is, your brain thinks it's already happened. It's already in your realm of possibility. It's so beautiful that the mind doesn't go, oh, this is bullshit. It goes, oh, we're selling in front of a sold out theater. Awesome. And your body retains that knowing. So next time I go, I've already done it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So like with visualization and affirmations is totally how I quit waiting tables and started a photography business.
Tell me about that.
It was, well, I had been waiting tables for 13 years, almost 12 years or 13 years or something. And so I had this idea that, lucky me, at least I'm waiting tables in LA and not Alabama. I was like, oh,
that's a plus. That's an up thought.
So cool. But then Dave came into my life, which was interesting because then
my guy's Dave too.
Oh yeah. So is it David or Dave? Because Dave's birth certificate is Dave.
Oh wow, that's weird.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
So it's so funny because people still call him David. It's so funny. He gets a little annoyed. It's hilarious, but it's Dave
because it's never David. But that's a normal name. That's normal. Yeah, this is David. I call him Dave. I tattooed that on my back.
I gotta see that.
I'm gonna show you.
Oh my gosh, I used to make a joke to my Dave that I was going to tattoo his name on my butt.
I'm showing you right now.
Because
you have the same husband's name.
Yes. Oh, that's so sweet.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
I love the blue
It's
flowers.
so sweet.
There's like a heart.
I love that.
In his name.
And what was his reaction? Was he like, that's bomb?
No, he planned it because it was Valentine's Day. Now, one time I said, wouldn't it be neat if we got our names tattooed on each other? I just said that.
Yeah.
And about 4 months later, he goes, don't plan anything for Valentine's Day. When I made plans for us, I was like, all right. And he took me out I was like, are we going to Mexico? What are we doing in one day? And he took me to breakfast. And then we went to Studio City Tattoo. And he knew what he wanted. He went first. And I was looking through a book and picked, I just couldn't really find it, but I picked a font and told him what I wanted.
And so does he have your name?
He has my name on his arm.
I love that.
And then under is the kid.
Gosh.
Like he just keeps adding to it. Yeah.
That's so great.
I love that.
Yeah.
When I got that, my mom said, well, what are you going to do when you gues divorce? And I said, she was always uplifting me. And I said, well, I guess I'll just cross it out and write Steve. And that made me giggle.
That is funny.
Yeah.
That's great. No, I love that. I used to make a joke with him about that I was going to get his name tattooed on my butt. Now I should.
Yeah. We should take a photo and show it to him.
Yeah.
I mean, not really, because it's kind of near it's just a small of my back.
Yeah.
But there's some stretch marks, so maybe not, unless you have like Photoshop. Well, you do, because you're a photographer.
Oh, I do.
Okay, great.
We don't use it too much.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So your page is dreamy. So how did you go from vision boards to?
Okay. So I'll just tell you this was interesting. So Dave was showing me like attention and all this stuff. And so my mind is like, oh God, what's wrong with this guy? He really likes me. That's crazy. But fast forward, we got through all of that. And then he stuck around for a few years. So I got to stop focusing on this and start feeling sort of like his love that he had for me. I was kind of like, it gave me a little confidence. I was starting to get more confident.
Yeah.
And my brain started to be like, you know what? Maybe I can do more. Maybe I can do more. So I read The Artist's Way, Julie Cameron, and I did the whole, like, I think it's like a 30-week thing, and photography kept coming up and coming up. And I was like, gosh, I don't feel very smart. Like, photography is very technical. I don't know, but I'm just going to try it anyway. And I was still waiting tables, and I started doing my friends' headshots and working for Ford models and shooting photography, like photos for kids. And it was just like, for the first time in my life, I started to feel like I was swimming with the stream instead of against it.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, and
we got to pause there for 1 second, because people, if you are doing something where you feel like you have a big bag on your back and you're walking up a hill, you're on the wrong path.
Totally. Oh,
because life flows with grace and ease when you're in what you're supposed to be doing. And when you recognize that something feels hard, it's the universe saying, this isn't the right path.
And you know, I remember when I would be getting ready to go to work, when I had decided, like, I think I could do more than just wait tables, I finally got to a place where I was like, you know, I'm a hard worker, like, universe, and it doesn't matter what it is, just show me what it is. You know, I don't care. It doesn't have to be anything.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to be specific about what it needs to be. You just tell me. And photography came, and boy, when I felt that, like, going with the flow, I was like,
oh, it's so good. You get to just relax and breathe and do what you're good at, and know that the universe has your back.
And it gave me this much confidence. So I was like, "Rah!" You know, I just took it all, and like was like, yes, I'll take that. Yes. And so I just put everything into it and started believing, because when it came time for me to quit waiting tables and actually really believe that I was going to make a living as a photographer, I would say this thing in my head that it was like, she quit waiting tables and she didn't miss a beat. She quit waiting tables and she didn't miss a beat, which I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like affirming. So I would just say this over and over. And then I got that book, this thing called You, Ernest Holmes.
Yeah.
That's the reason I went to that church.
That's a good book.
Mm-hmm. And so I accept and expect abundance. Like, I say that so many times a day. I can't even, it's a habit. It's like right when I wake up in the morning, I say it so many times.
My gosh. Over there, it fell down. But over there's a picture that says, I expect and accept, or accept and expect abundance.
I say accept and expect.
You said that.
Yeah.
I came home and found an image I liked online, and I typed those words in the center of it, and it's up on my freaking wall.
Oh, I love that.
And I forgot where I got it.
I love that.
So you must have said that in the class, and I just jotted it down.
I remember in the first pod, because I was like, that changed my life, saying I accept and expect abundance.
Well, tell how it changed your life while I go over to grab the sign, just to show you that you inspired me.
I love that.
Oh, will you grab it? Thank you so much, Ben.
Well,
it's right there on the left.
It just changed my life.
No, that was it. You were about to touch it.
In this way, I was just like kind of convincing myself that, like, oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, this is like, that's like heaven to me right there. It really, like,
isn't that beautiful?
Because it's abundance in everything. Abundance in money and love and talent and, you know,
everything. And I always thought abundance was money. And I'm welcoming that in big time right now. And it's coming, and I'm just so grateful for it. But with love, with self-love, with everything, everything that we're involved in, that we can be abundantly rewarded, and we can be in our abundance. And I think that there's like a giant ass pot of gold right in front of us, but we have a big veil that we can't see it because of a thought that we created when we were 7 years old.
Oh, isn't that?
And it's like, if you can lose that thought, know that you have the power of 1,000 stars, that veil can fall and you can go grab those coins. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. And, you know, just like that quote, Rumi quote, like, live life as if it's been rigged in your favor. Like, I love that, you know? So,
I love that. I haven't heard that before, but you know why I love that is then you can take everything that's shitty and that's rigged for your learning.
So much.
And that one, okay, go.
I just one other thing is that I just remember, like, when I lived in New York and I would be like walking past the plaza, I'd be like, oh my God, that place is so big. And it's like, I'm so tiny and that place is so big and I could never even walk into a place like that. But then obviously, you know, you grow spiritually and you start to realize that like you're talking about, the pot of gold is only as big as I can imagine it.
Yeah.
And then when I walked into the plaza to shoot a wedding, I was like, I feel so comfortable in here.
Yes.
I can own this so much. I belong here.
Yes.
You know? And even in moments where I didn't fully believe that, but I was making sure to tell myself that anyway, I start to believe it.
It's that act as if.
Absolutely. Like 1,000%.
And I totally in my head feel like, and I don't want to use the word celebrity or a star. I am a star because I think we all are, but I've always felt like I'm the same as everyone who is well known.
Mm-hmm.
And I just show up in a room that way because I know that I'm got all this good shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I act as if, and then people treat me as if. I had a friend who's kind of famous, or runs in a famous circle, and we'd go into a party together and I would just be me.
Mm-hmm.
But I just walk in and be like, oh my gosh, nice shirt. It didn't matter who the person was.
That's
You
great.
know,
Yeah.
whoever they were, I was just immediately, we're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
And talking to people, like sometimes they were huge people. I don't know who I'm talking to, which is
Mhm.
good for me because then my thought won't creep up. You're not good enough. I can just
Yeah.
be me. But she was just like, why do I have this posse and this famous kind of thing? And
Everybody's
half-
drawn to you.
or
Yeah.
she's like, they come to me, but then everyone's coming to you. And why are celebrities coming up to you? And why are I was like, well, I know some of them from my husband, but also I don't think about anything. I just am there and see who it is and who lights me up and go talk to him.
Mhm.
You know, just a clean thing. But she was always perplexed, like, you're not famous. You're not anyone. You're not. Why are they
You're
coming
like,
to
yes,
you?
I am. Yes, I am.
And I was like, because I know who I
Mhm.
am,
Mm-hmm.
which is attractive, I think.
Yeah, I think the energy is just good. I mean, just seeing you in that class and meeting you in that class, I definitely left going, who's that? You know, and then we had the phone number of everybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it was the second class. So I didn't do any investigating the first class.
I'm a little disappointed.
But the second class, I was like, Leigh. And I was like, oh my, wow. Babe, she has 5 children. Can you believe it? And he's like, no way.
Wait, did you Google me?
Yeah, I Googled and then I went to your Instagram.
Oh, I wish my Instagram was like your.
Oh, no, your Instagram's awesome.
Let me own it. My Instagram is like your Instagram, but I look forward to the abundant followers. So how many did you start with? Did you just post one picture and now you built to what?
Oh, so, you know, it's so funny because if you go back to like the very first photos.
I'm sorry, real quick. Ben, are you going to give us a 5-minute or 10-minute? So
5-minute right now.
Oh,
Perfect.
that's
fantastic.
great.
Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, so tell me, so how did you go? Did you just put one picture and you built your thing?
So no, I definitely posted a ton. It was intentional. So it was like when Instagram first came out and
How long ago was that?
I think it was like 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay, because I just started like last year.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's, you know, when people ask me like, how did you get a following? I'm like, oh, it's
Years
literally,
in the making.
it's the right timing too. And it
Yeah.
was super intentional. I came at it 8 or 9 years ago with the intention of gaining a following for my business.
Oh,
so it was I never really
beautiful.
looked at it as a personal Instagram.
Yeah.
And I used to post so much too. I'd post like 3 times a day and I always make sure to engage, educate, or entertain my audience. So I'm always trying to use captions that are like engaging and I really engage.
I want to comment on that because this is another thing that I modeled after you. Besides the sign that I printed
Mhm.
out, I just hired a media company
Mm-hmm.
to help do my videos and help put words on them and help. I don't have time. I'm not good at that.
Like your IGTV. or
No,
in
no,
face-
just like even like this.
YouTube?
They'll get a promo and they'll do the stuff and they'll promote it and put it in the right places and help me kind of build.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, look at Jana Williams'
Aw,
photos.
thanks. Thank
Photo
you.
or photos?
Photos.
Photos. Underslash
Mhm.
or whatever the hell it's called.
Underscore.
Underscore. I said, look at that. And I said, look at her and look at my other girlfriend, Goodbye Crop Top, because they are writing, because you're just posting my shit, people, from the place. I said, you guys are just posting my stuff. Look at these girls. There's inspirational stuff.
Yeah.
Every post is meaningful and it gives a lesson and it gives a little something good, a nugget.
And also personal, you know, because I think
Yeah.
there's so many people that are looking online for like people that they connect with. And it like your attitude is such a perfect fit for going, okay, cool. I can fully be myself because I have my tribe. Not everybody's gonna be part of my tribe, but the more real I am, the more like specific my tribe becomes.
Yeah.
You know, and so you've got the perfect personality for that. You have no fear. You know, I still feel like I have fear. I'm not brave enough to like today on my caption. I wanted to, when it said 3 things about me, I really wanted to get kind of more real than the fact that I didn't pick up a camera until I was 28. I wanted to be like a little bit more real because today I had some stuff going on, but I wasn't brave enough to, you know. But I feel like you're at a place where you'd be like, lay that shit down.
Well,
you
wait
know?
a second. What did you not do that you wanted to, that you weren't brave enough to do?
Well, because today on my Instagram caption, I said, hey, so I guess you've been following me for a while and you know some things about me, but here's 3 things that you might not know. So one, I did want it to be fun. I wanted to be fun. And it's just that like, I have this thing where I'll always like ask Dave to dance and like,
Oh, so
dip
you
me or
wanted to
whatever.
have more fun today?
No, I wanted to, on my Instagram, talk more about the struggle I had with my mom. Cause I've never really talked about that.
Yeah.
I've never really talked about
And that's
all of
such
that
a
shit
gift
I
to
went
share.
through.
You know why?
It's hard to talk about it on there. I don't know.
All women have gone through shit with their mom,
Mhm.
and most men as well. It's just inevitable because women have a lot on their plate, juggling a lot, and they were raised by humans as well.
Yeah.
And they're the number one provider of nurturing and love
Mhm.
and telling us who we are when we leave their home.
So true.
So when you had one that didn't do that, it allows other people to go, oh, me too.
And especially because, like how you said, your Instagram, you look perfect on there. And I think it's so, there's something weighing on me that's like, I need.
You know,
people
all
to
you have
it's
to
not
do is what
perfect.
you just said.
Mhm.
You let it be perfect because your thing is photography. That's your gift.
Mhm.
Show your gift.
Mhm.
A painter wouldn't put a black slash through his
Yeah.
painting to let
Yeah.
people know he's human.
Yeah.
Hell no. Show your gift and then share your heart.
Mhm.
And you're doing that.
Yeah. I am doing it.
You're
Yeah, I
doing
could do
that.
it a little
And
bit
I think
braver.
if we're and be braver, you're already braver. You're talking about it now.
Yes.
You're going to be braver
Thank
moving
you.
this
Mhm.
from now on. And if you give something that is your heart vulnerable and you give what you learned or whether it's teaching you, that's the gold in life. That's how we help other people. We can just see and get model after people who are being brave,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Even though it's messy.
Oh, always include the mess. Never wait for things to be
Mhm.
perfect. Never wait to do it right. It's like you just
Oh,
started
for sure.
doing it
Oh, yeah.
10 years or 8 years ago and you're still tweaking your message.
That's one of the like, I am so thankful for that. I'm so thankful that I'm not a perfectionist. If I was a perfectionist, I wouldn't get anything done. And so I always tell people that are like, trying to be photographers or maybe just starting, or maybe they want to get more work or they want to use their Instagram or something like that. However I can educate them, I'm always like, just do it. First of all, just
Me too.
do it.
That was how this started. I had the equipment. I was like, I guess I'll just start, and just started without even ever listening to a podcast before and without a
Mhm.
format. I was like, screw it. I'm just going to do what I do.
And I
and
love
see
that
where
in
it
your first
goes.
episode when you tell that story. I was like, because I just met you in the class, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to her podcast, and it was like you were like, hi, excuse me, hi, on the things, and you're like, so I've never listened to a podcast. I don't do a lot of research, and
Here I am. So
I was like, that's
we
cool.
have to wind up, but I love how we're winding up with your message to people. Don't read a manual. Don't take a class. Don't pick up a gosh darn camera
Mhm.
and shoot something. And how did it make you
Oh,
feel?
yeah, 100%.
And learn from that photo and then shoot something differently next time.
And keep going and learning from every time you mess up. Learn.
Embrace the mess because
Mhm.
that's where we learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can get clean again and we're going to get more mud on us. Fantastic. It's all for our learning. But do it right now. Whatever you dream of, whatever you're hoping to do. I wish I could do that. You can.
Mm-hmm.
Just kick off that stupid belief that says you can't and move forward. One little thing today, anything.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
I think today I'm going to let you take a picture of me.
Okay. Awesome. I'm
Woo!
excited to do that.
Okay, you are a delight.
Thank
and I
you.
look forward to deepening in our relationship and
Same
supporting
here.
each other, moving forward in a powerful way.
Yeah. Same here.
All right.
This was fun.
Yay. Thank you. Let's undo
you.
our, well, no, we'll just, I like to get the hug in. I like to
cool.
have my little human touch. I
That was
did it, but it was
fun.
so bad. I don't know if I can stand up straight.
You don't have to. I'll hug you.
Oh.